In Jammu Hills, we are familiar with a tree which is known as Rita in the subtropical locations, whereas in temperate locations of Bhadrawa, Kishtwar, Dudu Basantgarh and Kashmir, we are familiar with another tree, horse chestnut tree. Rita, seen in subtropical Jammu Hills, is known as Sapindus mucorosi, and it was used for washing woolens as well as presently used in shampoos. Whereas Aesculus indica is the horse chestnut tree we see in the temperate forests, which grows in the wild, and during early summer, May, June, we see the beautiful, fascinating flowering panicles. Leaves are opposite, they are palmately lobed. Locally, Aesculus indica or horse chestnut tree is called Gu or Gugu in Jammu Hills, whereas in Kashmir it is called the Handoon, connected to Hangul, a red deer of Kashmir. The plant I am now focusing, you see the fruits. This also belongs to Rita family, soap berry family, or soap nut family, or Sapindaceae, named after the genus Sapindus for Rita. And in the Sapindaceae, we also see very familiar drought-resistant shrub in Jammu Shivaliks, Kandi belt, throat, that is Santha, Dodonia viscosa, which has black-colored seeds and winged fruits, and male and female bushes are separate. It is seen growing in the wilderness in degraded habitats, soil erosion prone areas, and lopped as fodder or for making the roof of kacha houses in the villages. We were enjoying the Litchi fruit in May, June, and even till mid of July. But as the month of Sawan approached, Litchi was missing from the markets. So his season is almost over. And Litchi also belongs to Sapindaceae, Rita family. Litchi chinensis is the sole member of the genus Litchi, which was previously called as Nephallium litchi. And Nephallium genus was erected by Carl Linnaeus, or Carolus Linnaeus, father of modern botanical nomenclature, binomial nomenclature, Swedish botanist Carolus Linnaeus. He named it Nephallium, and once upon a time Litchi was clubbed under genus Nephallium as Nephallium litchi, but presently the classification explains that it is different from Nephallium, so it stands segregated under the monotypic genus Litchi, and as it is native to China and also the national fruit of China, it stands named as Litchi chinensis. Very similar to Litchi is this fruit which I am now focusing. So this is related to horse chestnuts, related to soap berries, Ritas, and related to Litchis, fruits. And even there is another tropical fruit tree under the Sapindaceae family and related to Litchi, that is rambutan, Nephallium genus for rambutan also. But this genus which I am now focusing is entirely in another separate genus, Dimmocarpus. Dymocarpus, and then species is Longan. So these you see the fruits of Longan. Brownish colored, little rough skin, and this scar you are able to see here. It was the attachment with the stalk or stem, and it grows in bunches. This is small bunch, and these fruits, when they are peeled, outer peel is separated, this, and then you are able to see the black colored shining seeds, single seed. So it's a drupaceous fruit, very much similar to Litchi, but in Litchi we have more than one seed also, and the arrel pod, which is the fleshy crisp pod, that is here. Here you see the peeled fruits of Dymocarpus longan. It has translucent white fleshy pod, and inside we are able to see the black seed in each one of the fruit, which stands peeled off. Outer covering stands removed. These are the shells or outer pericarp or the skin of the fruit, longan fruit, which stands peeled off. And inside we could see the fleshy pod. In the center you are able to see the white, crisp, musky odor, edible part of the longan. And this is very similar to Litchi, but it is not that much aromatic, although it also has some kind of musky odor. The unique feature of longan is one is able to see seed peeping through the translucent crispy white flesh. So it gives an illusion as if we are seeing these are eyeballs with pupil and iris. For the same reason, the word Longan was coined. Longan literally means dragon's eye. The word has origin in Cantonese, sub-language of in the Chinese dialect Cantonese. In that, Longan denotes the eyeball, so it is called as dragon's eye fruit. So we have one name as longan fruit and other is dragon eye fruit. We are able to see the peeled crispy fleshy pod and the peeled fruits without skin. Here skin is intact. Here we see seed and outer translucent fleshy part, but in the middle only fleshy arrel which stands segregated. And this fruit is a commercially grown fruit, mainly cultivated in China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia or Kampuchea. And under the genus Dymocarpus, we have another species which is kept under vulnerable category, and that is Dymocarpus gardneri, which is seen in Sri Lanka only. But in India, this particular fruit tree from the family Sapendaceae, to which our horse chestnuts, soapberry, rita belongs, and even Litchi is placed in the same family, Sapendaceae. Seeds are quite toxic, poisonous. They should not be consumed under any circumstances. Even pericarps are discarded. So whatever edible pot or safe to eat pot is, that is, the fleshy white colored arrow, and this is used as salad also, along with cherries and other salad ingredients. It is also used in soups, soup making, especially in China, Vietnam, Taiwan, Southeast Asian countries. This is also used in many desserts. Here I have innovated the rice pudding with Longan fleshy arrel. So this is the sweet dish locally called as kheer. So since I have used the edible part of Longan, so it will be better to name this as Longan kheer. Although rice is also there, rice and Longan. So you can name it as Longan chawal kheer or Longan kheer. To specify that Longan arrel has been used for developing this new dish as the Longan kheer. So you are able to see the separated, edible, fleshy, delicious part of the Longan fruit. Like Litchi or even Didonia viscosa xantha, the Dimorcarpus longan is also evergreen tree, and like Litchi, even Dimorcarpus has the alternate one pinnate or unipinnate leaves. Distinguishing character of Dimorcarpus is that number of leaflets is always in pairs, that is 7 to 9 pairs of leaflets. The terminal leaflet is missing in case of Dimorcarpus longan. This belongs to the family Sapindaceae, Rita family, and stands introduced in India. In fact, it has long antiquity, long history of cultivation in China, but world over, its mention or its spread was only in 18th century. In fact, 1790, it was Joao Loureiro, Jesuit missionary and botanist, who mentioned the longan fruit in his Flora Cochin Chinensis somewhere in last 18th century, 1790 or 93. After that, the Western world also came to know about its utility as a tropical fruit which can be commercially grown. In India, there is Litchi Research Center, where they have released a new variety of longan which stands named after Gandak as Gandaki 1. Gandaki 1 is improved longan variety. Mostly the longan trees which we are able to see in Sane colony, in one of the house, Vidyasagar, Colonel, retired army officer. The tree is quite large. It can grow up to 20 or even more than 20 feet tall. But Gandaki 1 cultivar of longan is quite small, shrubby, and its yield is also better, and fruit taste is also better than the tree longan. There are about 20 or 25 species under the genus Dimorcarpus, whereas under Litchi only single species, Litchi chinensis. And Nephalium lapicium is its another relative which is commercially exploited as a tropical fruit. Nephalium lapicium is popularly called as rambutan fruit, which has shaggy or furry kind of soft spinous nature of the fruit, and inside anatomy of the fruit is almost very similar to Dimorcarpus longan, which presently you are able to see. So this particular fruit, since it is already growing, so there is quite possibility that even if we grow it in our orchards, the progressive farmers can include this during the Ban Mahotsava tree planting program as one of the selected, if they are able to get the Gandaki one, that cultivar is much better. The flowers of Dimorcarpus longan, they are yellowish, and they are not one particular type. Rather, 3 types of flowers grow in the much branched terminal panicles. There are male flowers with 5-6 sepals and petals, 8 stamens. They are male flowers. Then second type of flowers, they are hermaphrodite, having both male and female organs in the same flower. Third category of flowers is again male flowers but with viable pollen. They are without filaments, or filament is reduced, and they have the viable pollen. Mostly the Dimorcarpus longan prefers cross pollination, but this tree where in Sani colony it is growing, I could see only one tree and it is able to fruit. It means from the same plant but different flowers. They are able to give the pollen, and bicarpellate pistil gets fertilized, and then there is a fruit formation. Now this is an early harvest. This is not the ideal time to harvest. Basically, it should be harvested around 15th August when we celebrate the Independence Day. But the owner of the house told that many flying foxes, chamgadad, Pteropus giganteus, and even other fruit bats, they are visiting the tree and consuming its fruits and damaging the crop. So how to protect? Then we need to put a kind of net over the whole tree so that birds and other flying mammals like bats, they are not able to damage the fruits of longan. But since that is difficult job for a tree, single tree which is growing in Sani colony, Jammu, so they thought it proper to have the early harvest. It is almost mature, but still there was time. I think they should have harvested it after few days, few weeks. Despite that, I just relished these crispy white fleshy part of the longan, and it is quite sweet, tasty, and quite nutritive also. It is also considered as medicinal, having very good composition of many phytochemicals like vitamin A, vitamin B1, B2, niacin, then vitamin C is in plenty, antioxidants, calcium, which is good for bones, zinc also, iron, some amount of iron is also found, so it is good for the development of hemoglobin or blood red corpuscles, RBCs. And this particular fruit is also reported useful in some kind of cancer and for the treatment of some of the digestive related problems. It is useful for against blood pressure problem, anxiety. So this particular fruit pulp is recommended to have the tranquility, good sleep. Another unique medicinal use of the fruit longan is it increases the vigor, so it is considered as aphrodisiac. So this particular fruit stands introduced in Jammu for the last 10-15 years, and now it is bearing fruit, and more progressive farmers can include this fruit tree, subtropical fruit tree, even in the subtropical belt of Jammu for just on a trial basis. And this particular fruit, when we are not able to see litchi in the fruit shops, we can go for the same kind of taste by consuming longan. In Dogri, we should name it as Longan or Longan Litchi or Dela Litchi. Why it should be named as Dela Litchi? Because actual literal meaning of Longan is eyeball or dragon's eye. So eyeball is called Dela in Dogri language. So this can safely be named as Dela Litchi, although this is not litchi but very similar to litchi, and in fact have the taste like litchi, although it is a bit smaller and it is not that colorful as we see the litchi. Litchi is pinkish red, but here the fruits are yellowish brown, and even the stalks of these fruits, they are quite hairy, and the outer pericarp skin is also having a rough surface like litchi. These seeds should be discarded as well as the skin, but the fleshy part inside the outer covering, outer leathery covering, this is worth consumption as it has odor, musky odor, and quite sweet. But one caution, the persons who are suffering from diabetes, they should not consume much of these longan fruits. As compared to litchi, longan fruit has more sugars in its fleshy part, and consuming in excess may cause harm to the diabetic patients, and that is the only one precaution. But as we are celebrating Ban Mahotsava in the month of July 2023, let us familiarize our youngsters, the students, the herbal growers and fruit growers, that though we have the mango as the king of fruits, and mango we are able to relish right from May through June, July, and even some fruits are available in August. That is the longer duration for various cultivars of mangoes. But in case of Dimmocarpus longan, the tropical fruit from the Sapendaceae family, the fruiting is possible only in after mid-July, and real time for harvest is August. So this stands introduced even in Australia and the America as well. So let us spread a message about this lesser known longan fruit, which is already growing and bearing fruit in Jammu city.